let me explain why I have bought a BMW X6. How do I explain this? Basically, I wanted something like this. I wanted a Cayenne. You guys remember the first video I ever put on the channel was actually my Porsche Cayenne, and I loved it. Absolutely loved the car, but at the time I had to sell it. That's why I did the initial video for the channel. That's why this sort of channel started, was because of that car. And I've always had a fascination with trucks, with body kits, you know, the bigger 4x4 stuff. And when it came to, you know, me changing the Cayenne at the time, I went through a couple of Lexuses, you guys will remember. And I always wanted to come back to some sort of truck being 4x4, you know, Porsche, Cayenne, Range Rover. And the idea was I wanted an original Vogue, so, you know, a 2003, 2004 Vogue. And I went and test drove some of them, and I just didn't really fall in love with them. I just didn't really enjoy the drive, especially. I drive a lot of cars, and I wanted something that was still sort of, you know, enjoyable to drive. And, you know, unfortunately my budget doesn't go to an SVR Range Rover, you know, it doesn't go to the newer Range Rovers, unfortunately. So I was umming and ahhing as to what really I could get. And the X6, I actually hate. I hate these with a passion. When they came out, when they were on Top Gear, everybody remembers these were the biggest financial mistake ever. They came out at a completely wrong time. You know, it's a 4-seater, it doesn't really make any sense. And then I drove one, and I saw this one on the internet, and I thought, ooh, I quite like the idea of this actually. It drives like a car, or like a big grand coupe sort of thing, but it sits high up and it sits like a 4x4 should. It got me thinking, you know, I'll go and drive an X5. You know, I've had a previous shape X5, yeah, I've had a couple of cars in my time, but the previous, you know, shape X5 to this, I had a 2002 X5, and I quite enjoyed it, I quite liked it, but I didn't want to go that old. So I looked at the newer ones, and then I looked at the body kitted ones, and I couldn't find a Harman kitted anything that was an X5. But after driving this, I sort of had my heart set on something like a grand coupe sort of style car anyway. And then I found this one. And everybody will know that I quite like this sort of car. It's a little bit stupid, a little bit outlandish, and I thought, you know, if I'm gonna have a daily driver for the channel, it has to be something interesting, something different. The only other YouTuber that has something like this is TJ Hunt. He has the X5M, the, you know, twin turbo petrol one, which unfortunately in the UK makes absolutely no sense. I still need to retain a good MPG figure, which just has 25. So it's not really any better than the Lexus, but it's still got a bit of poke to it, which is good. It just, I don't know, I drove it, and after driving a Vogue, after driving an X5, after driving my Cayennes and stuff, there was something this has that they don't, and it's not the capability of it going off-road. I don't really care about that. I'm never really going to take something off-road. Why would you, with 24-inch bloody wheels on it? These have a terrible off-road ability. I think we all know that from Top Gear. I don't know, the explanation is that I thought it was a good idea and I really liked the look of it, and after driving it, I thought it was a good idea, and I genuinely think it is. It's something that I would have never, you know, thought of buying, you know, initially not really liking them, and I will agree, you know, they are horrendously unpractical. It's got a relatively shallow boot, it's got 4 seats, the actual roof line there, when you sit in the back, is literally right next to your head. But there's something about the drive that hooked me. And a lot of you guys will know from the channel that when I do get in certain cars, you know, I enjoy myself, don't get me wrong. But there is some cars that just have that drive, and this was it. And, you know, the original one that I drove was a standard one, but I hated the standard one, absolutely couldn't stand it. There's something about it that just, it's got a whiff of, I don't like it, but I like the drive. That got me thinking, what could you make out of this chassis, really? And, you know, after looking at the kits and being horrendously outpriced with the body kits, I decided, well, why don't I find one with a kit on it to overcome that initial cost, I suppose. And then, you know, finding one with wheels on it would be quite nice as well. So then I found one, you know, a couple with wheels on them. And then I landed on this one that basically looks like a Stormtrooper helmet. I know there's a comment below saying it looks like a Stormtrooper helmet. It's like the Millennium Falcon. It's basically what it looks like. But it has the space. It has the MPG figure. It has the drive that I wanted. It has the different as well, the different. I wanted it to be so different. And a lot of people won't understand it. They will understand why I bought a Focus RS. They'll understand why I bought a Golf GTI, say. won't understand this. Reality is I could drive this anywhere because it's quite high off the ground. I can take it to car shows because it would probably be accepted there, hopefully. You know, it's not brand, you know, I'm not going to push a brand on the channel. Harman, obviously it's got the Harman badges on it. It hasn't got the BMW badges on it. So it's not really going down that route of just being solely, you know, Ford or solely VW or whatever. And yeah, I did, you know, look at some other BMWs, the 335i. You know, I've driven a couple of them. I liked it, but it wasn't big enough. So then, you know, you look at M5s and you realise that they are not as fast as they should be for what they are, and they are horrendous to keep going. This isn't. This is going to be cheap and cheerful, really. I don't know, it makes complete sense in my head. Hopefully it does to you guys, because I love it. I think it looks awesome, and I think this is one, it's going to be a keeper. I know it's going to be a keeper. Yeah, I want to do a couple of bits to it. I want to change it, you know, in ways. Someone's obviously been in and spent a considerable amount on the kit and the wheels and stuff like that. But yeah, I think for the channel especially, it's something that we can all get on board with. That I started the channel with a truck, with a 4x4. And yeah, this isn't a 4x4, it's not really a truck either. It's the compromise between all of it. It still drives really well. It's quite exciting to, you know, be in, and it's still relatively quick for what it is. I don't know if it's mapped or not. It might be mapped, we'll find out. But it's got the cool factor, in my books anyway, it's got the cool factor. And I know some people won't really understand, or they were expecting something completely different, something hot hatch and stuff like that. But I think for myself, I wanted one of these to take to the hot hatches to show off other people's hot hatches. I didn't myself want to have a hot hatch that was just solely going to be on the channel and I, you know, couldn't really break away from, like an S3. You know, I unfortunately have driven a few and they're fantastic, but it's not comfy. It's not, you know, a cruiser in a way, and it hasn't got that factor, this factor of stupidity. Look at the wheel. What is that? 24-inch Forgiato. What the fuck? What is that? And I've always wanted Forgiatos on a car. Like, it's one of those things I wanted to tick off my list at some point, and I did it, which is cool. The lines on the door, like the whole like body kit and the big bumpers and stuff, it just looks awesome. But let me know what you think below. Sorry to everybody that thought I was going to buy something hot hatchy, but I think this is a good compromise for myself. This is a car for myself. It isn't really for the channel. I'm not really going to expose it any more than this video and maybe a couple of others, depending on what you guys think. If you guys like it, I want to do, you know, bits and bobs to it, I will video it. It's going to be the daily runabout car. So if you guys do like it, I will do more videos of it. I won't, you know, solely put the channel onto this car, don't worry. There will always be, you know, various other hot hatches and silly other projects going on, but to just get from A to B and to the car shows and to everywhere else, I think that works, in my head anyway. Hope it does in yours. If you like the video, please give it a like. I'd appreciate it. Just massive shout out to Joe Shine for fitting me in today for what is cleaning these wheels. I'm never going to clean these wheels again because they are absolutely horrendous. They really are. The white in the barrel is so bad, but it's fine. And the rooster tail from this front wheel right here goes up onto the door. Oh, it's so bad. It really is. You go through one puddle, the car's absolutely dirty, like straight away. And this is the first white car I've ever bought in my entire life. 24-inch wheels. Oh, so happy. I'm literally so happy right now, you have no idea. So of course I had to bring the car down to JW, Jason behind me, to get its initial clean. I wanted to make sure this car was nice and clean prior to me getting it, so I had to bring it down here. What have we done today though? Because it's been a day of things and stuff.
Decontaminated it.
Decontaminated because it was gross. It was actually gross, this thing. There was so much in the grills and, you know, little bits and bobs all over it.
You've seen the video, the car turned purple when we put
yeah, insert the purple shots now. Literally the wheels were so bad. Obviously having such big rims on a car and them being white, the actual inside of the barrel gets so dirty so quickly, doesn't it? Yeah, it gets so bad.
It's been decontaminated and freshly coated.
And look, it looks so white and glistening now. Looks so good. And you've done all of the back of here, like the arch as well, because there was a quite a big build up there of stuff, which looks really good.
Basic decontamination today. So clay bar after it's hand wash and various decontamination outside. and now we're putting some glaze and some wax on it.
Yeah.
Going until we have a full detail.
The one thing that you pointed out a minute ago is look how good the paint is after what you've done, because unfortunately when I picked this up it was a bit gloomy, and then I drove it back in the rain, it was very flat looking, and just with, you know, a polish. What polish did you put on?
So we used it Ad's Car Care glaze today.
So shout out Ad's Car Care, that was a massive change just in literally one coat of going over the car. And as you can see, obviously the detailing lights making it look so good right now as well.
We'll end it for some of the fans of Fuso Soft 99.
Japanese, like this stuff is so cool, like the Japanese writing on it.
Just because we wanted to give it some quick protection today.
Yeah.
And then we can get it back in for a proper detail.
For a proper going over, because I think this thing needs a proper going over. There's little bits and bobs we're starting to point out, I think, that I definitely want to change, and we want to come back and sort of assess when we have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
But just as an initial real going over of the car, huge difference from obviously when we came. The wheels look so stupid. They just look so good as well. Mad changes there. Also, yeah, we're just finishing
years of
build up of
carbon and stuff off of them. Going to give them a polish in a minute. Hopefully we'll get some nice results from those.
Because these were actually black when they started. They were so black and horrible, and they're starting to silver up a little bit. And all of the products that have been put on the car today are available in JW Auto Shine if you want to come down. Everything is down here. You've got the more exciting Auto Finesse stuff in this one. You've got all of the detailing, Ad's Car Care. So everything's finished on the car. Wax is on. Oh, look at it. I hope you guys like this. It's something a little bit different. I'm stupidly happy with it though. Look at it. Oh, look how just silly it looks. We're going to pull it out. I'm going to get some pictures in front of the sign for Jason as well. Done an unbelievably good job on this though. Obviously when I picked it up, as I've said, it was pretty grimy, it was pretty horrible. They've absolutely smashed it out today. Really love the look of the truck. And they've done the exhaust pipes as well, as we said. Exhaust pipes look so good. I was waiting for that. Spraying each other. What a ledge. Da, da, da.
Go back in there.
Yeah, go on, get in there, mate, get in there, come on. Yeah. Can't hide behind the car, mate. I know it's big enough.